Gilroy here. Just got done setting up Conflict of Wills Judean Hammer. Guerrilla warfare during the Maccabean Revolt. This is a design by Robin David. And it doesn't have a solo bot in it. And actually it's card play, so there's some hidden information. So this one might be a little bit tougher to solo, but, you know, hey, I'm up for the challenge. So I don't know if I'm going to do after action reports like I've been doing. I tried that out. Might do it. We'll see. This game is a little bit more on the abstract side of war games, but it's dealing with a topic that is rarely, if ever, covered. So that's what interests me in it. This Conflict of Wills, I don't know if this is going to be a series or what, but I think the main name is Judean Hammer. I've got this set up. As you can see here, we don't have hexes, we have areas, so this is kind of an area control game. Also, we don't have counters, we have cubes, and in fact, these go here. I moved the plexiglass a little bit to and the cubes moved with it. So you're going to have control of these cities. The purple are the Greeks. The green are the Maccabeans, and getting ready to do the revolt. In order to control an area, you need to control more cities in the area. So this is an area, this colored area here. Jerusalem is its own area. This is an area. This is an area. This is an area, etc. If you control more cities in that area, then you're going to score a point. If you get to 12 points over here, victory points, you win the game. So at the end of the turn, if you ever get, whatever side gets to 12 wins the game. And basically the game is going to be done by card play. Each side has 4 cards that they start off with. There you have the sequence of play here. Draw 4 cards. Select a starting player, then take turns playing a card. This is a card-driven game in that, I'll look at these cards here. You're going to have op points, and the ops basically can be either used to move or to recruit. So you can use this to recruit, and there's rules on how you recruit and what areas you can recruit into. It's a little bit easier, I think, for the Greeks to recruit, or you can use this to move. This is how many units you can move, I think, +1. So you'll be able to move units on areas, and there's some rules on movement, and depending upon the color, it's really kind of hard to see, but there's some purple roads here. Those are for the Greeks. And then there's other ones that are not colored. So there's some rules on movement, and how many units you get to move is really based on the card. And then the areas, I think you can move up to like 2 areas most of the time. So really you're putting cubes on a board, so dudes on a map. You're putting cubes on the map, and then trying to move them around so you can have area control. But, you know, hey, this is a war game, right? So there is combat. And so basically combat's going to be comparing the number of cubes, and then you're going to draw one of these cards, and then whatever force gets the bonus. Like in this case, the Maccabeans get a +1. So the number of cubes plus whatever numbers on this card, so the Maccabeans would have +1. Then that will determine who the victor is, and then you roll the dice after that. And the winner, if the winner rolls a 5 or 6, then they're going to lose a force. The loser automatically loses a force, but if they roll a 5 or 6, they lose a force, and you roll again. So, you know, it kind of becomes a chain effect if you lose a battle. There's also some, as you can see, there's some ambushes there. That's the Maccabeans are basically guerrilla warfare experts, or at least that's their primary mode of combat. So when the Greeks are moving, then the Maccabeans can intercept kind of and do an ambush, and there's a process for doing the ambush there. You can also see there's some text on these. So if the Maccabeans play this card for the ops, then they just play this card for the ops, or they can play this card for the event. and do whatever it says on the event, which is usually better than ops points. But then this card gets out of the game, and that's one of the other triggers for in-game. Not only is it 12 points, but if there's only 12 or less cards left in the deck, then that's going to trigger the in-game as well. If the Greek player can play this card as well for the ops points, and again to recruit or move, but if they play this card, since it's a Maccabean event, the Maccabeans can play this event, so they can actually use this event. So that is kind of one of the reminiscent, I guess, Twilight struggle with the cards that could be played by either side, and then if you play the event, then the other side can kind of interrupt and get the event. So that is a little bit of tricky here. So you might want to play this for the ops, but you might only have Maccabean event faction cards in your hand, and you really need to use the ops. So you're kind of stuck with giving them the events on that. And then there are event cards for the Greeks as well, but and I don't know about the balance of how they're kind of distributed. So that is the setup. I thought I'd give a little bit of an overview here. I'm going to go through this. Don't know if I'm going to do after action reports or not. But I thought it'd be interesting to kind of look at the setup here. One thing I did note here, and I don't know if it's there's a place card map between players. This is where you're supposed to set out your cards, like your draw pile, your discard, ambush or combat cards, and then event cards that go out of the game. And it is on the back of the box. It did not say that you just have a map sheet. You don't have that card. It doesn't say anything about it. But in the rules, it talks about it here. Place card map between the players, and it also, I think, in the rules says, that you're supposed to get a card mat here. So I did not get the card mat. So don't know if that was this. I think this game might have been kickstarted. I don't know if that was a Kickstarter thing but if you got it in the rules in a couple of places, maybe it should have been included. I don't know. Probably not that big a deal. I can probably manage where I put my cards, but it's just one of those little quirks. When you get something, you want to make sure you got everything. Anyway, so that is the game is set up to start. I'll probably go a few rounds. If you're all really interested in seeing what the results are, please comment. Let me know what you think. But I thought this would be a nice, good little overview of the game and setup and overview, so you all can get a look at it. Hey, thanks for watching. As a side note here, I forgot to mention that on the sequence of play, after you've played your taken turns playing your cards, there is a check supply. You need to trace supply back. For the Greeks, there are these supply centers that they need to trace back to, and if you don't, then you're gonna lose a cube if you're not in supply. And then you score the regions, and we talked about that. That's all about having more cities in the region. If you're tied, then this doesn't score at all, but if you have more cities in a region, then you score it. And Jerusalem is a scoring region. That's why why the Greeks start off with the 1, because they have the majority in Jerusalem, because it's a majority of 1. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.